In this segment, I'll focus on the critical role that timing plays in any effective targeting strategy. Many of you are familiar with TiVo, the pioneer in digital video recording. But what you may be less familiar with is the fact that TiVo is also a major player in television market research. TiVo's stopwatch research service examines the commercial viewing habits of 4.4 million U.S. households. It measures the rate at which ads are skipped and provides insight to companies on the stickiness of their TV campaigns. Now, you may recognize some of the TV campaigns that I highlight below. These were three of the most critically acclaimed TV campaigns of 2007. If I were a betting man, I would have bet that these ads were among the least likely to be skipped over by TiVo users. Of course, I would have been wrong. That honor went to Bowflex, which was the number one watched ad in June of 2007. And it became the number one watched ad by targeting the right audience at the right time. Bowflex placed most of its ads on pro wrestling channels, which, not surprisingly, skew disproportionately to young male viewers. Bowflex also placed its ads in June prior to the summer swimming season, when it knew that its target audience would be trying to get buffed up for their pool parties and backyard barbecues. So what TiVo's stopwatch research teaches us is that the top performing ads are not necessarily the funniest or the most creative. In fact, they're far more likely to be direct selling ads for products like Bowflex and for services like court furniture rentals. And the takeaway is that relevance, or serving up the right offer at the right time, appears to trump creativity when it comes to capturing and holding people's attention. So why is timing so important? Well, it's important because we know from research that there are only small windows of opportunity when our habits are up for grabs. Now, habits are comprised of three basic elements. Cues trigger routines, and routines deliver emotional rewards that we're craving. When this loop continues uninterrupted, a habit can persist indefinitely. The brain essentially shifts into autopilot whenever the cue is present. But when traditional cues are no longer present, the potential for behavior change exists. And what happens in these instances is that people are forced to make conscious decisions once again. Essentially, the autopilot function in their brains is temporarily disconnected. And this explains why vacations are often the best time to start new habits. Without our alarms, commutes, and emails, we actually develop new routines. We work out, we have lunch with our families, and we do other things that we don't normally do. Research suggests there are a variety of different life events that naturally disrupt our cues. When we marry, for example, we're more likely to buy a new type of coffee. When we buy a new house, we're more likely to buy a different kind of cereal. When we get divorced, we're more likely to buy a different brand of beer. But the arrival of a new child results in arguably the greatest cue changes of all. A 2010 survey estimated that the average parent spends $6,800 on baby items before a child's first birthday. Disney estimates the North American new baby market to be $36 billion a year. What's more, purchase convenience becomes the number one decision driver, so new parents are willing to shift their personal purchase habits as well to the companies that are able to simplify their lives. This explains why companies like Disney, Procter & Gamble, and Fisher-Price offer free gift bags to new mothers when they're discharged from over 580 hospitals across the United States. Given the financial stakes involved, the retailer Target decided that approaching new moms in maternity wards was far too late. So Target developed a pregnancy prediction algorithm, and the algorithm revealed that pregnant women buy items in a specific chronological order. Unscented lotion and vitamins like zinc and magnesium, for example, are purchased during the second trimester. And items like washcloths, cotton balls, and hand sanitizers are purchased in the third trimester. Over time, the model became so precise that Target could predict delivery dates within a 2-week window. With an advantage like this, it should be no surprise that the investment paid off. Target sales grew from $44 billion to $65 billion during this period. But timing is critical in other domains as well, and one of those domains is automobile sales. Enter Joe Girard, the world's greatest salesman. Joe was born in 1928 in Detroit, Michigan. A high school dropout, Joe worked as a dishwasher, delivery boy, stove assembler, and home building contractor before gravitating to sales. In 1963, the then 35-year-old Joe walked into a Detroit car dealership and begged a skeptical manager for a job as a salesman. Years later, Joe would be recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's greatest salesman, averaging 812 car sales per year over a 16-year period. Not a bad hire for that manager. And the following is a sample of tactics that Joe used to ensure that the timing was optimal for him to make a sale. Joe would cold call customers to see if they were in the market for a new car, and if not, he'd ask them when they would be, and he'd call them back then. Joe created a master filing system that alerted him when pre-qualified leads were approaching the ends of their leases. Joe activated satisfied customers by offering them a $50 bonus for each customer referral that resulted in a sale. Joe also incentivized loan agents to make him aware when their clients were arranging car financing so he could intervene and try to sell them a Chevy. Finally, Joe incentivized insurance claims agents and repair shops to let him know when their customers totaled their cars and would need a new one. And the results speak for themselves. In summary, timing is critical because the windows of opportunity for behavior change are small. We know from research that the potential for behavior change is greatest when traditional cues are no longer present, and it's the savvy companies that develop mechanisms for spotting these customers and engaging with them when the timing is right. Finally, promotional efforts that fail to acknowledge these windows have the potential to squander vast resources on customers who are psychologically unreceptive to change.